Now, let's do some enhancements to the product class. First of all, what we want to do is we want to ensure the consistent assignment of values in the product. There are kind of several things that may go wrong, I guess, yeah? But the first one which we'll discuss here is what's going to happen if when we set the product price, the parameter that we're passing is just ignored, and we simply, instead of that price parameter, just set in a different value. See what I mean, right? So the caller, in this particular case, the main method of a shop class, says that the price should be $1.99. That's what it says. But if the product in the set price method accidentally, well, you forget that price is a parameter, yeah, and you just reassign a value, you say, oh, price is 1. Then it kind of doesn't matter what the shop class says because the price will be just ignored. You simply discard the parameter of $1.99 because you're saying the price is 1. And you run that and you can see the price is 1 instead of $1.99. Yeah. So that's something that can accidentally happen. You may forget that you're not really supposed to override the parameter value. Imagine a really large chunk of code in this method. And then, you know, you forgot that price is your parameter name because there's so many lines of code you don't see that line anymore. Yeah, you're scrolling down, there's just a big method, lots of code. So it's generally what could accidentally happen. You kind of forget that that's the case. But then if you use the keyword final, well, you won't be able to forget it anymore because see what will happen if I mark all of these parameters as final, like so. Yeah. If I try to reassign that, the code will not compile. You can see immediately, yeah, NetBeans warning you that that's not going to work. Actually, if you force the compilation, there is this clean and rebuild button. You click on that, and it forces NetBeans to actually run javac. Yeah, well, delete all the classes and run the compiler again. It will give you the straightforward compile error saying you cannot reassign final variable because it's a constant. So you're not supposed to do it, right? Which will basically warn you that you're doing something you're not supposed to. So you can press Control and / on the keyboard, and it will comment out that line, or just delete that line. And if you compile again, obviously the error will disappear. And NetBeans immediately stops displaying that warning for you, you know, saying that you've corrected the code, everything is fine. So there is actually an interesting point. Making final parameters may be a good design decision to ensure you're not accidentally reassigning parameters because you just forgot what the variable name is, which could happen, you know, in complex code. Okay, so we fixed this problem. Now, obviously, if you try to compile and run, yeah, you'll see that now you save, the value will come as $1.99 again, yeah? We will not be ignoring the value passed by the invoker. Now, the next thing, we add in logic to the product class that will calculate the discount value. So inside the product, we need a new constant to represent the discount of 10%, type of big decimal. So somewhere in the product class, we need to add that. And the hints go like this. It should be public static final, yeah, type is big decimal, and call it in all caps with underscores between words, and it will be discount rate. This is the actual code that you need to form. Obviously, you may try not to just copy paste, but sort of guess what you need to write based on the descriptions, but that's up to you. So let's just somewhere on the level of this class add this constant. Again, you can do nice format, and if you know if any alignments in the code are required, yeah. So this is your discount rate of 10%. Okay, now once that rate is present, what we need to do is add a method that will use this discount. Yeah, we'll do some manipulations with that. The method is called getDiscount, right? It should return big decimal, and we'll add some logic here in a moment. So let's put this method somewhere. Just an extra method. Again, you can do the nice formatting. So yeah, the method will show us a compiler warning. Obviously, it's not going to compile right now. The NetBeans were saying that that's wrong because we're not returning a value. We promised to return big decimal, but we didn't actually put any return statement. Well, we're going to do it in a moment. So what do we need to do in this method? Add logic to the getDiscount method that calculates and returns a discount value by applying discount to the price. Ensure that calculated value is rounded to 2 decimal digits. So this is what you need to do. Take the price, multiply by discount rate, and set a scale. Let's do that. And technically, when you set in the scale, you're using another component here for which you don't have an import. That half up is apparently not found, right? So do the fix imports. And we'll say, oh, do you want to grab the half up from Java Math rounding mode? Yes, I do. You can do it that way. Yeah, if I may just cancel from here, or you could do it this way. Just directly say what you want to import. There you go. And format. Yeah, so there you go. So we did that. And the import that was added, as you can see, is a static import of Java Math rounding mode half up constant. Right? So we can treat that half up as if it's a local constant within a product, pretty much like we treat discount rate. And that's due to the presence of static import. So it's just a convenience trick, really. Remember, when you will compile this code, in the eventual compiled class, all of these imports are actually removed, and that prefix is basically used to reference that constant, in compiled code. But when you edit the source code, it's convenient to have imports, I guess. So you don't have to type, class names in front of variables and package names in front of class names if you don't have to. Okay, so we did the imports. Now let's print out the product ID, name, price, and discount. So we add in that additional part, printing the discount, to the existing code in the shop class. We add an extra method, and we'll actually invoke that and run this application. So it will say that that's the discount available. Yeah, fair enough. So calculated that and returned the value. Great. So we tested the discount method. Now what? Observe that, yeah. Now open the shop class editor and do what with that? What we want to do is play around with variable initializations. So first, let's just comment out all of these assignments of set ID, set name, and set price that we're doing in a shop. So what's going to happen if we never assign them? Just comment them, Control and slash, and run. And we'll definitely run into trouble here. And we'll run into trouble in the method getDiscount specifically. Actually, you could see it as a null pointer exception. Now, you can click here and you will be navigated to a specific line of code where the error actually occurred. So it's in this multiplication. It's when you call price.multiply, that's when you're having a problem. The price variable has never been initialized because the line of code that is indeed initializing the variable that set price is now commented out. So price is null, and you can't call methods upon it, right? It's not initialized. So yeah, that appears to be a problem. Well, how are we going to address this? Yeah, so we have an exception coming up. The product obviously is not correctly initialized, right? The default values for your instance variables go like this. The int ID is set to 0. The name string is set to null, so is big decimal price is also set to null, right? So you've got 3 variables, primitive is defaulted to 0, and any objects are defaulted to null. And hence, when you try to make the call upon the price to multiply to discount, you're having a problem. Now let me uncomment that set price line, because it seems like this was the reason for the exception. So let's just uncomment that for a moment and just run it again. But we're still not initialize an ID and name, yeah? So what's going to happen? Well, apparently now the calculation that multiplies price to discount actually worked, because the price was actually initialized. We never tried to do anything with name, and we never tried to do anything with ID. That's why we don't have any problems with them. They come up with default values 0 and null. Yeah, they're not initialized, but then we're not doing anything with them. So with the price we were trying to calculate discount from price, so that's why we had a problem. And once the price is initialized, we seem to get away with it, right? Okay, so we've explored that. And we'll explore the reason why the price variable is now, not causing us trouble, yeah, because it is indeed initialized properly.